And welcome to Illini Drive here on WPGU 1071. Ori Benatar here with Jade's computer turning on. Jake,
So
Tommy, Will. It's not unprofessional. She's getting her computer ready to tweet and to look up information. It's very professional.
Says you.
Well, says me. I would agree it is, but
That could be our starting show thing every time. We
Turn
could just,
on
have,
a Mac
in the microphone. Yeah.
Yeah, we start the show. We start with a Mac sound. We might get copyrighted for that. Who knows? But yeah,
I don't think we're big enough to warrant that kind of attention.
Hey, I'm sure Tim Cook is listening.
Tim Cook needs to fix the
Tim
glitch
Cook,
with
friend of the
with the letter I. First of all, like
What glitch?
there's like if
It's
you,
turning into like a little box.
hieroglyphics.
with,
It's turning into hieroglyphics.
It's really dumb.
It's unbelievable.
It doesn't make sense.
Well,
It
the
makes no
iPhone
sense.
X came out, right?
Yeah.
and
Yes.
has those emoji face things.
those
so-
are awesome. I
Yeah,
need
those
that.
look
I
pretty
need
cool.
it just for that.
Did you see the video?
I'm the one that
Yeah.
tweeted it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well, we'll be back here with Will, Jake, Tommy, and Jade as we're ready to have a full day of Illini sports because we've got to talk about football and we're going to have a nice little men's basketball preview extravaganza because men's basketball starts this week and we're all very excited for it. But we're going to start off talking about Illini football. 7 straight losses now, a loss at Purdue, 29-10. Once again, Illinois kept it pretty close through 3 quarters, but then giving up 2 touchdowns in the fourth, 2 offensive touchdowns. There's not really much else to say, Jake, because it's pretty much the same old we've seen with this Illini football team. Offense struggled, passing game struggled. Cam Thomas looked a lot better in the passing game. Kendrick Foster played pretty well, but just those penalty mistakes and just not being able to sustain drives and score points.
Yeah, it's like you said. We say the same thing every week. The offense can't sustain any momentum. The quarterback play is shoddy. It's just there's nothing to look forward to anymore. They're not going to win another game all season, and then we thankfully move into basketball season where there's at least some kind of hope for the season.
Yeah, I mean, it was disappointing. This was probably their last chance at a win this season. I mean, IU, they have a shot this weekend, I guess, but I don't know. It was good to see Cam Thomas step up a little bit. He went 10 for 20 this week, did a little bit better. Definitely threw the ball better, but again, like Jake said, we just can't sustain anything right now, and they show great flashes, but it's just a matter of keeping consistent, and they have not been that this year.
And to be fair to the football team, like, sure, Illinois football wasn't expected to be a great team this year, but they've been really, really unlucky with injuries. I think I saw from Twitter today as all the guys were at the press conference that they listed around 18 players injured, 13 starters were injured around because Mike Dudek didn't play. Epstein and Bonner were both hurt, so that's why Kendrick Foster was at running back, and he played really well. I don't know why we haven't seen more of Kendrick Foster throughout the season as part of the rushing attack. But just so many injuries, no Dudek, no Tony Adams, no Rayvon Bonner. So I think you have to mix in the luck factor into this entire season because I think if Illinois was healthier, if their offense was more healthy, and Cam Thomas and Jeff George Jr. both had more options when it came to the passing game or the rushing game had more options, then I think the Illini would not be 2-7 at this point. I think they would have had at least one more win.
It's fair to argue that, but at the same time, I mean, even when we've had guys like Dudek playing, Malik Turner playing, we have weapons out there, and they're just not getting it to him. Smalling's been our best receiver on the year, and even his numbers aren't great. I mean, I don't know. The running game, again, they've had their moments. The Epstein injury hurt a lot. Not having Bonner the last 2 weeks hurt a lot. But, I don't know. You have to pass the ball a lot more efficiently if you really want to get anything going, and they have not done that.
Yeah, and Cam Thomas played a lot better in the passing game, 10-20 for 159 yards. He didn't throw an interception. His first career game without a pick. It was his first career start. He had some nice throws. He ran the ball pretty well, 58 rushing yards. So Cam Thomas, as you can see, is progressing. So that's something to look forward to in these next 3 games. And again, Illinois is going to be playing another Big Ten team on another losing streak. Indiana has lost 4 straight, and they're the only other team with Illinois that doesn't have a Big Ten conference win. They still haven't won a conference game yet. Opened up the season losing to Ohio State, then lost to Penn State, and then they've lost 4 straight to Michigan, Michigan State, Maryland, and then they got killed by Wisconsin after they had a lead around in the first half. So, and it just seems that the Illini are kind of the team where these Big Ten teams have those losing streaks, and they just get off of those losing streaks. But would we say for the last 3 games of the football season, is this Indiana game the most winnable?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, and it's not close. I mean, Ohio State.
Although Ohio State looks pretty bad, Ori.
Pretty bad.
Pretty
not
bad.
great.
Don't talk.
Remember when you said J.T. Barrett was going to win the Heisman?
Remember when he lost? He threw 2 picks.
Remember when he threw 4 picks?
I was
4
asleep.
picks?
4 picks.
I was asleep, and then I woke up.
Yeah.
He threw 4 picks?
He threw 4 picks.
Oh, he threw 4
and
picks
Illinois
already?
gave up 50.
Oh, no.
And Ohio State gave up 50.
Or no.
Or no.
It could have been a much worse weekend. Thank God the Columbus Crew won yesterday.
This segment just turned around completely.
But man, Ohio State got
Gave
killed.
me a lot of energy.
Cavs lost to the Hawks. It's been a rough weekend for Ohio. Good thing the Columbus Crew won and made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Should
play
the Cavs
Toronto.
have traded LeBron instead of Kyrie?
I think they should have.
Embrace debate.
Let's get that trending.
Anyways,
Was Kyrie the one carrying LeBron and not
right.
the other way around?
you guys aren't going to keep me down long, all right? When Ohio State plays Illinois, we'll see who has the last laugh. If Illinois did beat
we're
Ohio
not
State,
expecting Illinois to win. Like,
I've kind of been on the Illinois upset train for a while, but
you
have to
have
stick with it.
been
You've
since
been-
the
I'm
first
in.
of
I'm
September.
been with it since
I'm
week
in.
1. You
I'm
can't
still
jump off.
so in on it to the point where it's like it doesn't make any sense that it's going to happen. But the way Ohio State looks right now, and like coming off a couple losses,
It's just a wonky
they're going to have a
game.
big win this week, and then they're going to come into Illinois, and it's just going to be like, oh, we got this one. JT's going to throw like 7 picks. Mike Weber's probably not even going to play just because.
Well,
Just to back up Ori a little bit here, does anyone else remember when Tommy over there he came up with the prediction that the Bucks were going to make the Super Bowl?
I didn't say the. Oh, I did say
Yeah,
that.
you
I thought you
did.
said Browns.
That's true.
The
Tampa
Browns
making
are not
this-
making the Super Bowl.
Oh, well, they are. 8-8.
Yeah,
2090 maybe.
But see, at the same time, you guys were
No,
with
you
me.
were just riding a hard knocks.
Tell me
train.
you guys were not with them.
I could have seen it.
After
I've seen them as
seeing the
wild
Jameis
card.
win thing, I'm all out on it.
Hey, look,
I
yeah,
love
that
Jameis
was
still
brutal.
so much.
Did you
but
see Spice Adams' video though?
No.
That making fun of it. It was really funny.
Look at the Saints, though. Former Illini Justin Hardy
Justin
getting
Hardy,
that
big
block
touchdown,
punt.
yeah.
Block punt. Saints are first in the South. A lot of former Illini doing a lot of great things. Brandon Paul is playing great for the Spurs
looks good.
right now. He looks
He
fantastic.
definitely looks like he belongs in that
We
offense.
knew that would happen though too.
Yeah.
We knew he'd like start slow, not get a lot of minutes, and then slowly climb.
He's so good for Popovich, too. 'Cause he's good enough on defense. He can score a little bit. That pass he had yesterday, I don't know who it was
Oh,
to, but
phenomenal.
I think it's to Anderson, right?
Yeah, phenomenal
Yeah,
pass.
he looked great.
Yeah, so a lot of former Illini succeeding. A couple of Illini are going to be playing tonight in Monday Night Football. Geronimo Allison for Green Bay. You got Tavon Wilson and Keem Spence for the Lions as Week 9 of the NFL season closes. But back to current Illini. I think I think what we're going to see with the Indiana game is what we've seen with every single other Big Ten game for Illinois this season. They're going to keep it pretty a score or two close within 2.5 to 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter is just going to blow up. Ohio State, we don't expect them to be in the game because Ohio State has a big game against Michigan State. They could win that one if they don't.
No, I think we're winning against Ohio State.
Are you serious?
I've convinced myself that we're doing it.
Okay. Well, you've also convinced yourself that Illinois was a potential 6-win team, and we all kind of did.
Don't
After
you
the first
throw
2
me
wins.
out alone on
Yeah,
that.
Well, that's why I said
we were all
kinda
talking
did.
between
I'll
4 to
defend
6
Tommy.
wins.
I'm defending Tommy, too, because I said we all kind of did after they beat Western Kentucky.
Yeah, well, we were all right
So,
in that momentum
You have
train.
to let me. God, you have to let me finish my sentences.
Never.
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 But how about the Northwestern game? Honestly, over Thanksgiving, Illinois against Northwestern at Memorial
chance.
Stadium. Not a
Not a
chance.
chance.
Give us 2 wins against them. I would love to just see Illinois go out and ruin both their seasons.
Ohio State and Northwestern.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be phenomenal.
Back-to-back wins.
Yeah, let them roll out on that.
I think if Illinois beats Ohio State, then they automatically have to be put in a bowl game. Like just whichever one Ohio State was considered for, just put
Take
them
them
in.
to the Bahamas.
I
Bowl,
think that
maybe.
also if we win out our last 2 games, even 3 games, especially 3 games, if we beat Ohio State and Northwestern to end this year, I think we should probably be the national championship favorites for next year.
I'm in on that. Let's go.
We guarantee.
That's just so much momentum. I mean, I don't know what you're going to do to stop that.
Carries right over.
we guarantee too much on this show, myself included. It's just insane, and none of these ever happen.
Oh, no, this one's a lock, though.
Okay,
You can
fine.
bet your mortgage on it.
I don't
Actually,
have a mortgage.
I was right
Put a
about a lot of
second
my
mortgage
baseball
on your
predictions
house.
from last. I was right about a lot of my baseball predictions from last year.
That's true.
I was good on
Not to
baseball.
brag.
You guys were laughing at me when I originally brought up Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. That's true.
We've got some good predictions. It's just we throw a lot out there.
Nothing will ever beat
It's
Hunter's
a lot more,
Western Michigan.
a lot more
last
misses
year.
than hits. But
Well,
Some big hits, though, too.
we're always missing. I mean, the prediction champion here probably has had everything right all season. She probably had the.
have we checked that?
Have we checked what? We haven't done official picks on this show. We did that. That was a thing last year.
Well, whose fault is that?
It's my decision, not my fault. If you want to do it, we can for the next semester or for basketball. Okay, you guys give me the you're making fun of Ohio State. It's just a Ragory day.
You're saying we make fun of Ohio State like it's a new thing. Like it doesn't happen every week.
It doesn't happen every week. I'm just oblivious. Taking a look at some other Illini sporting results over the past week / weekend. Yeah.
What's just happened the last 10 minutes was exactly the show that we had on our own without you.
For a full hour.
It's exactly what happened.
Well, more of a reason for me to be on the show and not
I think we
miss
should
out
let the
on
people
shows.
decide that one.
Let the people decide. You're the one
Twitter
who
poll.
you're the one who just said I don't think we're big enough to get copyrighted by Apple. Tim,
Well, that's a reasonable statement.
it's not. I'm not saying it's reasonable. We're just being totally unreasonable right now. But anyways, taking a look at some other Illini results over the past weekend. Volleyball were undefeated over the last week, getting a straight set win against Northwestern on Wednesday. They won a 5-setter against Michigan on Saturday. Wrestling opened up their season against Missouri. They lost that one. Missouri is 5th in the country, to be fair. Isaiah Martinez picked up his 99th career win. Tennis teams are in action. Yeah, it's all right. It's not bad.
It's okay.
He'll probably get his 100th on Sunday the 19th when wrestling will be at the Roadrunner Open in Bakersfield.
Also wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, not bad either.
Again, exceptionally average.
Exceptionally, yeah. 100 wrestling wins. We can, Tommy can do that. Jake can do that, obviously. And anyone here can. 100 wins. He'll win a national championship probably this year, we would expect. But lots of sports that are going to
Then we can maybe start saying he's good.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, 3 national championships and 4 Big Ten titles, we would expect. But yeah, lots of Illini sporting action that's going to be taking place over this upcoming week. Of course, we got men's basketball. We're going to have a full men's basketball preview after our first commercial break. Men's and women's cross country will be in Iowa for the NCAA regionals. Women's basketball begins their season also on Friday against the Fort Wayne Mastodons. And then they're going to be taking on the Florida Gulf Coast Eagles on Sunday. Volleyball has a doubleheader in Michigan. Friday against the Spartans. Saturday against the Wolverines. And, of course, football hosting Indiana since it will be Dad's weekend. Should be a fun. Are any of your dads coming for the weekend?
My whole family's going to be here.
My family will also be here, I think.
Will?
I haven't made any plans yet.
No.
Your family will be here? That's the only reason I went to the
Dad
doctor
might
today.
make it with the RV.
With the RV.
All the way from Canada.
Nanny Woodhead?
Ooh, that's quite. How long
Breaking
is
Bad
that
stuff.
drive?
It's about 10 hours. It's not bad.
Damn.
Not bad.
It's not bad.
That's not that bad.
That's not that bad, yeah. But
Considering I'm in a different country.
yeah, that's true. Considering.
And it's less than half a day.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, Canada's a different country than the United States.
Breaking news. Canada's not in the United States.
Yeah, it is not. It's next to the United States, but it's not the United States.
People forget.
People forget we're South Canada.
I think we're going to hit the reset button here and take a quick commercial so we can
Disagree. This
Get
is very strong.
get a little more
Okay,
focused.
wait. Give me 2 minutes. We usually do it at 6:20. Give me 2 minutes.
Fine. What?
Okay, I've been thinking about JFK a lot recently, and I've been doing some research.
Why?
And it's just, I don't know, stumbled across the thing of like the similarities between him and Abe Lincoln, and just kind of spooks me out. Like, he's definitely a time traveler, right? Like, come on. Like Abe Lincoln or JFK, there's, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I don't.
Let me rattle these off real quick. Real quick.
So Jake the conspiracy theorist is saying
Okay,
what
alright.
JFK's alive.
Stay woke.
Okay, here we go.
Stay woke, folks.
Okay. Lincoln elected to Congress in 1846. Kennedy,
I
1946. Lincoln elected president 1860.
This is so dumb coming from me.
Elected president 1960. Names Lincoln and Kennedy each contain 7 letters.
Both were U.S.
No.
presidents.
Both wives lost their children while living in the White House. Both shot on a Friday. Lincoln's secretary Kennedy warned him not to go to the theater. Kennedy's secretary Lincoln warned him not to go to Dallas. Both successors named Johnson. John Wilkes Booth, born 1839. Lee Harvey Oswald, born 1939. Come on. One of them is definitely a time traveler, right? Come on. I can't be the only one in on this. Tommy, help me out.
I mean, it is slightly spooky.
Jake, I'm sorry.
I can't believe you
back
just
up on
now
this one.
stumbled upon this
Yeah,
information.
I-
I,
not
feel like
once
I
you
heard
started
this
writing-
like
I didn't
10
stumble,
years
okay,
ago.
so I didn't stumble upon it, but I stumbled upon it like rediscovering because I knew it was there.
You've been
but,
doing your research
like,
recently
forgot
with
about
the
it.
files
Well, because the
being
files,
released,
yeah.
yeah.
So it just made me think about JFK.
Okay, it's 6:20. We'll discuss more JFK while we're off the air, but when we come back, we will do a full Illini men's basketball preview
that was
here on
wild.
Illini Drive, brought to you by the Illinois Fighting Illini. Tickets and info, fightingillini.com or 1-866-ILLINI1. We'll be back in a sec right here on WPGU 1071.
You're watching Illini Drive on Urbana Public Television. Tune in Monday nights at 6 p.m. to listen live on WPGU 1071.
Welcome back to Illini Drive here on WPGU 1071. Ori returning with Will, Jade, Jake, and Tommy. Time to talk Illini men's basketball. We're going to do a nice little preview here, talking about the team, talking about the conference, and then we'll get some predictions and take a look at the schedule, too, as men's basketball season gets underway this Friday. First game will be on BTN To Go. You can hear myself and Roland Illini host Ryan Wilson on the call for that one on Friday. So make sure to check that game out on BTN To Go on Friday when Illinois hosts the Southern Jaguars from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. But let's take a quick look at the Illini men's basketball roster and who we think could be the top performers, who we think needs the most improvement. The exhibition game wasn't so positive for the most part, but we have both of our daily Illini men's basketball beat writers in Tommy and Will here, so we've got basketball pretty much covered. Tommy, who would you say is the prime candidate to be like the Illini Player of the Year? Who do you expect to have the biggest year out of everyone on the team?
It's tough to say. I think Finke will be big. He's going to be really good in this system because he can run a little bit. He can really spread the floor, and that's something Underwood likes a lot. At the same time, though, any of these guards really, I mean, between Mark Smith, Trent, T-John, even like DeMonte, they've all got enough talent, and they're all going to be getting enough opportunities that they're going to be able to start all these fast breaks, pick up plenty of assists, be able to run in transition a lot. And, I mean, really, it's going to be kind of a collective effort. Like, none of them are going to succeed without the others also doing well. So, I don't know. I think that the main, like, if you had to pick three to maybe look out for, it'd be Finke, probably LeBron, because those two are not going to be off the floor much. And then I'd say Mark Smith.
Does that sound about right, Will, you would say?
As those being the top three guys on the team, I'd say it's probably the case. Honorable mention might be like a Kipper Nichols, just because his team doesn't really have too much size, and he's another guy who he's a guy who will provide a lot of flexibility in terms of the front court and back court because they'll move him around a lot with the positionless basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of positionless basketball, there's not a single center listed on the roster. It's all guards and it's all forwards. The tallest guy on the team being Vessel and Finke, both at 6'10", and both of those guys are kind of like power forwards for the most part. Vessel's kind of like a point forward almost because he has that passing ability.
Vessel is Kristaps Porzingis.
He is Kristaps. He's the Slovenian Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah.
So.
He's going to be sweet. I don't know how much we'll see this year just because he isn't very big, like in terms of size, and seeing him match up in the Big Ten will be interesting. But give him a year or two with Fletcher, he's going to be really good.
Yeah, one thing Underwood's kind of emphasized so far is that he kind of lacks that physicality that you see from a lot of other guys on the team. But like at the same time, it'll be interesting to see his development because he's a real skilled player.
It was good that I remember in the press conference he was mentioning how he has to go up against LeBron every day, who's very physical. I think that's going to really get him ready for all these matchups down the road, especially these next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to go up against LeBron day to day in practice. I feel like he'd catch a lot of elbows.
Yeah, a lot of bows.
Mm-hmm. And then sort of the main attractions of this team when it comes to the players. We talk about LeBron Black, we talk about Michael Finke, but since this is a new era of Illini basketball, we saw with Lovie Smith in football, you start to see more of his guys playing over the former coach's players. In the case of Lovie playing his guys over Beckman or Cubitt's guys. In this case, Underwood could be playing a lot more of his guys over John Gross's players. So the big two guys we're looking at in terms of the top scorers are Mark Smith and Mark Allstork.
Yeah.
Around what kind of average points per game can we expect from those guys?
I think you can expect 15 a game from Allstork, maybe like 15, a few rebounds, couple assists. He's gonna be on the free throw line at least 10 times a game, I think, and he can finish with the best of them. So he's gonna have his opportunities. And Mark's the same way. I mean, I think you don't want to set the bar too high for him, set expectations too high, just because, again, he still is a freshman. He is just now starting to focus on basketball. He was a baseball commit before. I would say maybe 11 a game for this year. 11 a game, 5 assists, 5 rebounds.
Are those the top two scorers?
I think he might be up there with him.
I think we'll see a real balanced attack this year because it doesn't really seem like there's going to be one guy who's just going to be getting all the shots.
I think you'll see a lot of guys between that 8 to 12-point range.
Trent Frazier is one player who could potentially light it up. I mean, just during the exhibition,
I think all the freshmen who are going to be coming off the bench. I think between Frazier and DeMonte Williams and even Vessel, those guys I think could have really good seasons.
Trent's going to be really interesting. Like, I don't know how much you think of this comparison, but when I see Trent Frazier play and like I just look at his highlights and look at his numbers and everything, I see like a young J.R. Smith. Like, I see this guy who's going to be the first off the bench. He's going to come in. He's going to be real streaky. He's going to come in and either hit 5 threes in a row in your face, or he could be tossing up shots for a while. And you got to take the positives with the negatives there. But he's going to be a guy that can really score in bunches, I think.
Yeah, I guess I like the comparison in terms of the role he's going to have this year on the team because he is a guy who can shoot the ball. He's
athletic.
I mean, I'm not sure exactly what he necessarily provides on the defensive end. He's a guy who's quick, so maybe he'll kind of learn as the season progresses. But like with him, it's really hard to say at this point. I mean, I think he's one guy who in a couple of years will be an elite point guard in the Big Ten because he definitely possesses all of the physical tools.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Illinois men's basketball considered to be one of the lower teams in the Big Ten this year. Sports Illustrated saying they're going to finish 13th out of 14th in the Big Ten this season.
I disagree with that.
Yeah, that seems low.
Yeah.
It's understandable for them to think it just because they are so young. It's a new system. It's a new coach. And they don't really know. They don't know how this team will adjust to playing in the Big Ten or playing even just college basketball. But I don't know. I think that they're going to surprise a lot of people.
I'm really conflicted because I feel like this team maybe isn't the most talented, but I feel like the staff is a lot better than the one they had last year. So Underwood definitely has a reputation for kind of progressing players, and as we've seen so far, his teams make the tournament.
He's going to get the most out of them.
It's hard. It'd be kind of shocking if they're not at least competitive.
Yeah, the big team I think Illinois is looking to hop in terms of the Big Ten standings is honestly Ohio State. Ohio State had Ohio State had a bad season last year. They got a new head coach in Chris Holtmann. It's a very similar situation with Buckeyes basketball than it is with Illini basketball. And Ohio State doesn't really have as many marquee guys. I mean, Jayshawn Tate and Keita Bates-Diop are probably their best players. And they're saying Ohio State is better than Illinois. A lot of people are saying Ohio State is going to be better than Illinois. Even Nebraska better than Illinois. That doesn't make sense.
I feel like it's a thing of keep expectations low so you're not disappointed, which is how I live my life. But also, like, side note.
Getting dark over here.
Oh, my God.
But
it is really dark. Daylight saving now.
Okay.
Bad joke.
Father Oreo over here.
Bad joke.
That was bad by dad.
How are your children doing?
How are my kids?
How are your kids?
I don't got kids.
That's just like observing a fact like around you. Like that wasn't even a joke. He just and the thing is he looked outside.
All our friends jump off a cliff with you too.
Sure first.
I needed to double check.
As if it wasn't pitch dark when you walked to the studio.
It's been dark since 4:30.
I know. That's annoying.
Which is preposterous. Daylight savings is a ridiculous, like, just
You didn't
scheme.
enjoy an extra hour of sleep?
No, I did, but it's just like, it's a scheme. I don't like it. I feel like we're being, the government's line
Just
goes
think about
so
the farmers.
Yeah, it's the farmers, man. It's not the government.
Will, the champagne guy, chiming in over here about the farmers.
Oh man.
Yeah. But do you think the bar is too low for Illinois men's basketball? Because Sports Illustrated, all these guys are saying Illinois men's basketball.
13 out of 14 is way too low.
I'm looking at Sports Illustrated predictions right now. Michigan State at 1 is right. Purdue at 2 is right. Northwestern at 3.
They're
I don't
ranked.
see. They're ranked, but I said it before.
Lose guys?
No, not really. I think they lost one senior, and they're returning guys. They just don't impress me. They're very solid all around, but they're not a team that's like gonna blow you out of the water. Like
I think you're a little biased just based on the name alone.
It is
because it is a real experienced team.
It's
coming
fair.
off an
It's
NCAA
fair.
tournament appearance.
But again, then Minnesota at 4th in the Big Ten. They're going to be solid this year. Patino put together a pretty good team over there. Maryland at 5, I understand. Michigan at 6, fair. Wisconsin, I think, is going to be surprising in a bad way because I do not think that they're going to be 7th in the Big Ten. I don't think they're as good this year. Outside of Hap, they're not a very good team compared to it.
Yeah.
They're almost rebuilding, similar to what a team like us or Ohio State would be doing right now. But then going down that, they've got Indiana. Again, I don't know. They've got a bunch of young guys. They've got a new coach also. Could go either way.
Penn State, too, is confusing.
Iowa and Penn State and Ohio State and Nebraska. I think that we could very easily finish in the top 9.
I have a side note. We beat Northwestern twice
last
last year
year.
with a very, far lesser team.
We also don't have Malcolm this year, which hurts.
But like Will said, it's more balanced.
It's going to be more
where
balanced.
They don't have to rely on one
We've got a
person
much
all the
better
time.
Northwestern
coaching
is
staff.
very balanced, too.
Here's a question for you, Tommy. So if Illinois does finish in the top 9, is that good enough for a tournament bid then, or are they kind of on the bubble?
This year, I think it would be because I think top 9 means. I think top 9 means they win at least 19 games.
I think they would have to win at least 2 tournament games. I don't know if we're going to see 9 teams coming out of the Big Ten for the tournament this year. Because the Big Ten is good, but it's not that good this season.
I don't know. So I wrote down 18 and 12 as my prediction for their record. I think that. See, they've got us going 6 and 12 in conference. I think we're winning at least I think the worst case in conference is 8-10.
Yeah, I mean the toss-up conference games, and we'll talk even more about the schedule later on. Honestly, the big toss-up conference games are the Rutgers games for me.
You think that's a toss-up?
Illinois lost to Rutgers last year, and Illinois has had their troubles in close games against Rutgers.
A lot of that
last
year, though, I just remember at least the Big Ten tournament game that we could have won to make it into the tournament over Rutgers. That was like a lot of mismanagement by Gross, a lot of bad. Again, considering the system, again, John Gross, nicest guy in the world, great recruiter, did a lot of good things for this program, but he never let any players get in rhythms. Say Finke hit 3 shots in a row, you wouldn't be surprised to see him benched on the next play.
Yeah, his rotation was.
I think that Underwood will not be scared to go with the hot hand, and his system naturally generates so much more offense, and it's a very efficient defense. So I mean, I just think that considering the talent that's on this team this year, and the way this coaching staff has them going, and what they are compared to the Gross staff, I just don't see them doing worse than they were last year.
With their up-tempo style play, I think they're going to score some points. The real concern is how they're going to defend with the lack of shot block.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people are going to have to step up. Greg Budin, again, we need to figure out a name for him because I can't say that.
Budin.
I think he likes the nickname Spicy G.
We're going to Spicy G. I like that.
I love that.
Yeah, he might be Big Ten Freshman of the Year with that name.
Yeah, from Nigeria, one of the 2 non-American players on the Illinois men's basketball roster, along with Vessel from Ljubljana, Slovenia.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's top 10 for us. I think that they're going to surprise a lot of people.
I think it's possible.
I think they're going to surprise a lot of people.
I just think the only way Illinois makes the NCAA tournament is if they get to at least the Big Ten quarterfinals. I think that's the only way they have.
I don't think that's out of the question, though, either.
I don't think that's out of the question either. I'm just saying I don't think Illinois' regular season record is going to be enough to get to the tournament committee and say, oh, Illinois should be maybe an 11-seeded first 4 team or maybe a 9 seed.
I think if they
need to win tournament games.
I think if they win 8 games in conference, they're making it because they're only going to lose at most 2 non-conference games.
I was with Tommy. I had 18 and 12 too, and then I think they'll do well enough in the Big Ten tournament to warrant a tournament
extra wins.
Because I feel like they're going to be a team that picks it up at the end of the season and really.
They're going to be a second half team.
I feel like they find their stride later once they kind of have that time to gel together and then maybe show up in the Big Ten tournament and impress people some more. Then
yeah, I guess we'll see. But we're going to take another quick break here. When we come back, we'll do a full breakdown of the schedule. Talk about who Illinois is going to be playing. What are the easy games? What are the hard games? What are the toss-up games? All that and more when we return to Illini Drive right here on WPGU 107.1.
You're watching Illini Drive on Urbana Public Television. Tune in Monday nights at 6 p.m. to listen live on WPGU 107.1.
Back to Illini Drive here on WPGU 107.1. Ori back with Will, Jake, and Tommy. Quick little score update. We got Monday Night Football tonight in the NFL. The Packers are going to be hosting the Lions. 3 former Illini will be playing. No Bears this week as they were on a bye. The Browns are also on a bye, so they didn't lose this week, which is nice. NBA, just 3 games tonight. The Bulls will be in action tomorrow at the Toronto Raptors. The Bulls are currently 2-6. Hockey happening yesterday. The Blackhawks lost to the Montreal Canadiens 2-0. Couple decent hockey games happening right now. Blue Jackets and the Rangers just started. The Leafs lead the Golden Knights 3-1 over in Toronto. And finally, I guess some soccer. The MLS playoffs continuing. Columbus is going to play Toronto in the Eastern Conference Finals, while in the Western Conference Finals it'll be Houston versus Seattle. Those don't start until Thanksgiving break. But now let's talk about this Illini basketball schedule. We kind of mentioned the records. You guys mentioned that you've got Illinois winning 18 games. But let's do a full game-by-game breakdown. Not going to do a full, here's every game, here's who are the best players, blah, blah, blah. But I have Illinois starting 5-0. I have a win against Southern, win against UT Martin. I think Illinois is going to beat DePaul in the Gavitt games, then beat Marshall, and then one of their 3 sort of non-Division I opponents, Augustana, the Vikings. I think they'll win that game pretty handily. And then I've got the Illini losing 4 straight.
Augustana, while we will win that game, is actually pretty good. They're always the top of D2. I actually have a friend that's a guard there, and he's pretty good. And I feel very good in saying that we'll win that game, but they're not, going to be just a rollover.
Yeah, and then the Illini schedule gets, I think, considerably more difficult. Sure, their non-conference isn't that strong, but it's a stretch of tough games. North Carolina Central, I actually have the Illini losing. because NC Central is a tournament team. We have seen Illinois have tough time against 16 sort of seeded teams 2 years ago. Remember the North Florida game? North Florida shot like 60% from three, and it was insane, and Illinois lost. Then I got them losing to Wake Forest, Northwestern, and Maryland. I don't think Illinois is going to beat Northwestern this year. It's in Evanston. And then I have 3 straight wins, which I think the biggest sort of gamble wins for me, 2 of the big toss-up non-conference, Austin Peay and UNLV.
UNLV is one of your biggest gambles right there? Whoa.
See, I have
another dad joke.
I've got them starting 7-0.
That's a dad joke for Will even pointing that one out.
I'll take that.
I've got them starting 7-0.
Really,
North Carolina Central, maybe if they were in North Carolina, they'd scare me a little bit more. But playing in Champaign, I just don't see. I think that it's going to be tough for them to come in the road and beat us. Wake Forest, we beat them for Iowa. We're going to beat them here. Northwestern is where I have the first loss. I agree with you there. I think that I think we'll split with them on the year. I do not think we'll beat them on the road, but I mean, if we can pick up a win against them too, that'd be great. Then
Maryland.
So just stopping at Maryland and PA, I've got us beating. I've also got us splitting with Maryland because they don't have Melo Trimble anymore. I don't think that they'll be as strong. They're still gonna be a very good team. Don't get me wrong; they're gonna be a top 25 team most of the year. But I think again, the Champaign advantage is gonna be big time, and I think we'll win that. PA doesn't scare me either, especially in Champaign.
Yeah, so. The Governors. UNLV on the road, I think Illinois is going to win that game. But to me, that's one of the bigger toss-up non-conference games.
Yeah, that's the one I'm not sure just because it is in Vegas. It's on ESPN2. It's already one of the big games. I don't know. I think I don't remember if I marked them down for loss or not. I think that'll be a very good, close game. I think I'd put it as a loss right now. Yeah. So I've got them starting 9-2.
Yeah, I have them first couple games. I got 5-0, then go to 5-4, and then I'd have them at 3 straight wins would be 8-4 because I have win over the Governors, beating UNLV. They're going to beat Longwood. Then I think they end non-conference losing 2 of their 3. I think they're going to lose to New Mexico State and Missouri.
I think they'll beat New Mexico State. I think we're going to lose to Missouri.
Yeah, I think Missouri's a loss.
I think Missouri.
I have it flipped.
You have it flipped.
Missouri will be interesting because I do think that's going to be a really close one, and it could be one that goes either way. I just think that can't even think of his name. Porter Jr. is going to be unbelievable.
He's a preseason All-America first.
He's going to be the first pick in the draft next year. The kid's unbelievable. So,
looking at the All-America first team, you also got.
I just don't even know who's going to guard him.
Yeah,
Kipper.
Maybe Mark Smith guards him.
What do you think?
I guess Kipper. I'm not
Probably
sure. I
Kipper?
kind of feel the same way
Kipper
as you.
Laurent?
I mean, he's like a real.
And don't forget,
player.
you got Tillman in the middle.
Tillman doesn't scare me. I think he's way too raw right now. He's going to be really good down the road, I think.
Well, but down the road, the game is not until December 23rd.
I think if you put Laurent on him, I think if Laurent plays him physical,
I think that Laurent
gives
can
him some issues.
I agree with you. I think that he's used to just being able to bully kids and get through on just his size alone. And I think when he goes up against a guy like Laurent Black, who's going to push him around and throw some bows, get in a little physical with him, I don't think he's going to handle it.
I feel like if there was anyone to carry that chip on their shoulder from the Tillman thing, it would be Laurent Black. I feel like he'd love to be the enforcer in that situation.
Those first 2 months, would we say the Missouri game's the most anticipated? It's probably that and Northwestern.
I'm really excited for the Missouri game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it too. I'd say the Northwestern game is pretty exciting. Last non-conference game against Grand Canyon Lopes.
Ooh,
that should be at least a 20-point victory. That is going to be a win. And then we get to Big Ten play. I have the Illini starting Big Ten. I have the Illini starting Big Ten play 0-5 because the lost to Northwestern Maryland, and then I have them losing to Minnesota and Michigan on the road, and then I have them losing to Iowa at home.
So I had them starting 1-1. I agree with losing Minnesota and Michigan. I think we'll beat Iowa.
Okay, you're using the home field advantage pretty significantly.
I am, and it's really like it's just I feel like with the Big Ten. And with the talent that we do have, I feel like we're at least even with majority of these teams. And I think that being able to play in your home court gives a big advantage in a game like that.
We also have to see what kind of presence Orange Crush has this season.
Right. And I think with the vibe around the program right now, I think it's going to be good.
I think they'll step it up. People are excited.
I think
it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even within like my own fraternity, like I know a lot of my friends, like there's been some people that go to like an occasional game in the past. But I mean, even just today, people were saying, oh, like let's buy some tickets for these first like 3 games. You know, it's already only like $20 for the whole thing. Like, they're really excited to go out there and see it. So, I mean, I think it's going to be, even if the results, like in the wins and loss column, don't necessarily show up as early as we'd hope, I think that just the overall product that's on the floor is going to be a lot more fun to watch, and it's going to bring more people out.
I think they're all going to be competitive games, too. Like, I don't see a lot of potential blowouts here.
I see a couple. I think that both Michigan State games are going to be tough. Though the Illini beat Michigan State last year in that big game, Malcolm Hill got really emotional. It was probably the signature moment for Illini basketball last season, and one of the signature moments for John Gross's career. But 2 games against Michigan State, hosting them on January the 22nd, on the road against the Spartans late in the season, and a potential, game that's going to decide their fate for the tournament. I think they're going to lose both of those games.
Which ones were you saying? I'm sorry, I missed it there.
The double Michigan State. The home game is on January 22nd. On the road, it's going to be February 20th, which is the third to last game of the season.
Yeah, I'd give us a shot against Michigan State again, just because it's at home. But I don't see us. I think if I had to pick 2, I'd say we'll lose them.
Yeah, and then you got Miles Bridges on that team, who is Illinois is playing.
We did well against them last year, though.
Yeah, but Illinois is playing against 2 of the 5 preseason All-America. Team guys, and they're not
Haps
facing
up there too.
Yeah, after Iowa, Illinois, I think will beat Nebraska. I don't understand why people think Nebraska is better than Illinois. I think Illinois is better than the Cornhuskers.
Gross. Wisconsin, I think we're going to split with them this year too. I don't.
I've got 2. I've got 2 losses.
Again, I just don't. I think people are picking them where they are just because they're Wisconsin, and I don't think they're taking into account what this program's really gone through these last couple of years. They're losing a lot of talent. Obviously, they have Happ, who's a great player, and he's going to still be great. But it's just they're kind of, even though they're still in a good position, they're almost in their own little mini rebuild. Mm-hmm. And I just don't. I think we'll be able to pick out at least one of the 2 from them.
Yeah, I think it's also important to point out. You look at the Illini schedule, and they start the season playing 6 straight home games.
Right.
But then in that stretch of winter break, where there isn't going to be as much of a student section presence, Illinois only really got 2 home games. The Grand Canyon game on December the 30th, and then the Iowa game on January the 11th.
Yeah.
So the way Illinois' schedule kind of plays out is really, really nice for them. After they play Wisconsin, they're going to host 3 straight against Michigan State, Indiana, Rutgers in late January. I think after the Michigan State loss at home, Illinois is then going to win 3 straight against Indiana, Rutgers, and I do think they beat Ohio State in Columbus. I think Illinois is better than Ohio State again this year.
I agree with that, too. I also think that, again, we still have a chance with Michigan State. I think we very well could win. What's this little stretch here? After that Michigan loss, because I think Michigan's going to be very good this year. I think they're also going to surprise a lot of people. A lot of talent, and Beeline's just a great coach.
Yeah.
But I think we legitimately have a chance at putting up a 6-game win streak here with Iowa through Rutgers. It's going to be tough.
I think it's too tough.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's likely. Like, I wouldn't bet anything on it if I were a betting man. But I'm just saying. Again, Iowa doesn't impress me. Nebraska, I think, is very overrated. Wisconsin, you know my feelings on them. I think they're going to be very disappointing in terms of people who have them out there. Michigan State at home. If we lock down Bridges, I don't know what other options they have necessarily, but I think it's doable. Indiana, very similar situation to us. They have a lot of good young guys coming in, new coach. I think that the home court advantage brings us over the top there, and then Rutgers stinks.
Yeah, Rutgers.
It's a decent 6-game stretch there. Like, it looks a lot harder on paper, but if you break it down, I don't think it's as bad as it looks.
Especially if this team comes together quicker than everyone's anticipating.
This will be after 2 months, nearly 3 months of playing an Underwood system, having real game experience, playing against real Big Ten teams, playing against Mizzou.
And Northwestern. And Wake Forest.
They'll be challenged at this point, and I think that they'll have a decent chance to do it.
Yeah, and the end of the season, I think, is where it gets harder, because after Ohio State, 2 home games against Wisconsin and Penn State. I think Illinois is going to beat Penn State, lose to Wisconsin again. Then on the road to Indiana, I think they lose that one. Beat Nebraska at home, so they're going to win both games against Nebraska. And then the last 3 games, 2 of their last 3 games are against Michigan State and Purdue. That's tough. And then they end the season again playing Rutgers. I think they win that game this year. I have Illinois finishing the regular season 16-15.
Yeah, I must have missed a game, but I had them 18-12.
Yeah, I missed a game too. I had to recount everything because it can get confusing when there's that many games. But yeah, I'm saying 16
so then I'm
going to
say 19-12.
19
I
and
don't
12.
know which game I missed, but I'm going to give it a win.
Okay, 19-12, 16. Yeah, I guess it's kind of similar to how we predicted football. You know, we had some guys who were in the 4 or 5 win range. Some of us were in the 3 win range. So, I mean, that's just the reality with Illini men's basketball. They have a lot more potential than football, but we just we don't know how they're going to play with the system. I think as the season goes on, we'll start to really figure out if this kind of talent can play in the Underwood system. I think guys like Mark Smith and DeMonte Williams, fast guards who are athletic, will work, but we'll see if this works for guys like LaRon Black and Michael Finke. I think it can, but we really need to wait and see. It's going to take a long time to really figure it out.
A lot of these predictions are kind of coming off basic, like simulating what kind of how you really think guys are going to fit within your head. And again, like you said, it's tough to say right now, just considering that we really haven't seen this in full action. We haven't seen them play any real teams. We haven't seen them play any real games. So it's this first couple weeks are going to be really interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, a lot of the weight's really going to fall on LaRon and Finke, I think, because those are two guys who actually have a lot of Big Ten experience, and it's like really like the only size they have up front in terms of guys who've played significant minutes.
Yeah,
and they're the leaders of the team.
And I think they'll also do a great job in helping the younger guys like a Kipper or even like if Monty gets some minutes or Spicy G.
We're rolling with that.
If any of them, I mean,
Spicy
like
G.
I think that they're going to be big in helping these guys adjust to playing a Big Ten schedule.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to expect that by that midpoint of the season, a lot of these freshmen will kind of find their role for this team.
I agree.
Again, you're listening to Illini Drive here on WPGU 107.1, brought to you by the Illinois Fighting Illini. For tickets and info, go to fightingillini.com or call 1-866-ILLINI-1. Yeah, I mentioned how there's a lot of stuff happening in Illini athletics this weekend, and also a lot of it is happening at home. It's going to be a busy weekend to be an Illini fan, with men's and women's basketball having 4 games combined at home, football happening in Memorial Stadium. It's an exciting time to be an Illini fan when it comes to being able to follow your teams, as now basketball is going to start. Maybe pick your brain a little away from football, as they've lost 7 straight now, potentially might end the season losing 10 in a row.
Definitely.
Which we've been saying is probably likely.
No, they're beating Ohio State still.
They're beating Ohio State, right.
Obviously.
I guess last 5 minutes here, we've been talking about this off the air a little bit. The baseball award nominees have been announced, Jake.
Back to JFK.
No, we're not going back to JFK. We're going to baseball. Because, baseball season's over, unfortunately. So now we get to that time where from November all the way to March, we're kind of struggling. And to be fair, baseball's really been happening from March to November because of the World Baseball Classic. So it's been a long time since we haven't seen any baseball.
This year was good to us. This past baseball year was really good to us.
Yeah, started off with Israel upset and the WBC USA winning the tournament, and then we had a very good season with the Astros beating the Dodgers in a very exciting 7-game World Series. But award nominees for the BBWA Baseball Awards.
Baseball Writers America.
Baseball, something weird acronym, very long. MVP, the NL MVP top 3 was a little confusing. You got Goldschmidt, Votto, and Stanton. No Dodgers players, no Cubs players in there, which is surprising. Well, not a single person in the top 3
I guess you
played
could
for
have
the top
said
2 teams.
Bellinger, maybe.
You could have said Bellinger, I guess. You could have...
Justin Turner?
Yeah.
No.
But he was injured to begin the season. He missed it.
No.
He missed some time early. But I think with the Cubs and Dodgers, they were just collectively good teams. I don't think they really had one person pulling the whole team.
Chris had a case, but
Not a big
I think
case.
No, people look at if you look deeper into his numbers, his face value numbers in terms of the average, the RBIs, home runs, it doesn't look as good as his MVP season last year. But looking actually into the more advanced stats that I think a lot of these writers take into consideration, he had more or less just as good of a year than he did the year before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's the counting numbers that people like. And Stanton's 59 homers. Votto, if you added 0 for 65 to the end of his season totals, he still would have led league in on-base percentage. Goldschmidt carrying the Diamondbacks from out
I
of the
agree. I
playoffs,
think
too.
all 3 of them should have been over.
So, I mean, it's the counting numbers that count. I agree with you. Bryant still had a really good season, and he still could have made a case. He's
probably still top 6.
He'll probably still get top 6 votes. I think him and Rizzo will still be in the top 10.
Yeah.
But I think it's Goldschmidt. I mean, people are going to want Votto, and I wouldn't be mad if Votto did get it, but I just don't think he
Votto
does.
would deserve it.
I don't think he will because he's on the Reds, and I think that gets a knock.
Yeah.
I think that knocks him down.
I
think
remember-
same thing with Stanton for playing on the Marlins.
I went to the last Cubs-Reds game of the year at Wrigley. And I just remembered seeing Votto hit and looking at his numbers up on the Jumbotron.
It's ridiculous.
And I was just blown away because his
Every year.
on-base percentage was 460.
Every year.
Yeah, I saw Votto play with the Reds back when Jay Bruce was younger and on that team. That was
Those
That
Reds
lineup-
teams from 6 years ago were really good.
I know.
When they had Devin
can't believe they didn't
Mesoraco,
win a
Jay
series.
Bruce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those Reds teams
Brandon
were,
Phillips.
Yeah,
Hard
Brandon
to get
Phillips.
Reds.
Brandon Phillips, one of the best second basemen that I've
Yeah.
ever seen play.
Votto has led the league in on-base percentage every year since 2010,
459.
except in 2014 and 2015.
Wow.
In 2015, he had a 459 and didn't lead the league in OBP.
That's insane. He gets on base
But,
46% of the time.
I
That
mean,
is
he's
nuts.
I mean, he's never been below 360.
Yeah. But that
That's
seems
insane.
that seems to be the only award where the nominees are like, not these sort of obvious guys. Whereas for the AL, Altuve's obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Rookies of the Year, Judge, Bellinger, obvious. Managers of the Year, pretty obvious.
Hinch.
AJ Hinch will win it, and then the
I think
Diamondbacks guy.
NL Manager of the Year is going to be a little closer, but I think it's going to be the D-backs manager Lavulo because they went again from out of the playoffs, a terrible record. They switched the record. I think
Yeah, they
whatever
flopped
it was.
They had like 86 wins this year. Or something.
right. So I mean, no, they had 90.
90.
They
did
cracked
have
90.
Yeah.
So and then they went to the playoffs. So I mean that'll help you obviously.
And then the Cy Young one, I think, is going to be a
That's
little
where
bit
it gets
closer.
murky.
I'm shocked Severino got top 3.
Who else would you?
I
Who
mean,
else stands
it-
out?
it's Kluber,
I mean, obviously
Sale.
Kluber and Sale.
Yeah, then I guess
But
I don't know.
There's really no one else that stood out.
I mean,
in the AL.
it's great to see
I mean,
Severino
I guess
get top 3.
Keuchel, I guess, because he had
Yeah.
like a 2.6.
Even
but
Verlander, even that end of the
Yeah.
season Verlander had.
I think
him-
Verlander will be 4th because of that.
Yeah, but I think AL Cy Young, it's probably going to be Kluber. Just because of the win streak, I feel. But
I
Sale
don't
had a
know.
really good season.
You can't pin a win streak on a pitcher though. Obviously, he had a big part of it, and you knew you could count on him. I know his ERA was ridiculous during that run, but the strikeouts with Sale.
How many did he have? Like
just-
300?
He cracked 300. Yeah. I think it's going to be Kluber too because I think the
think it's Kluber?
peripherals.
I think it's
I think the
Sale.
peripherals are going to come in, and Sale had a rough stretch at the end. Sale kind of fell off at the end there.
I think Sale, I mean, even for a while, had an MVP shot.
Yeah, he did. When
the
it was
beginning.
like in July there, he did. But I think it'll be Kluber. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be Kluber by a hair.
I'd like to see Sale win it.
Yeah.
But-
He will eventually.
And you said before the Cubs-Nats series, this Washington team has 3 Cy Young contenders. 2 of them end up in the top 3,
Yep.
in Strasburg and Scherzer, along with Kershaw.
Yeah. Gio Gonzalez will be in the top 6. I think
NL is tough. I think it's a real close between
it's going
Kershaw
to
and
be
Scherzer.
really tough. Obviously, nobody ever wants to give back-to-back awards like that. So I don't see, I don't know. Because Scherzer was just so good from beginning to end. And Kershaw always has... He didn't miss time this year, right? Or did he? Did Kershaw miss time?
He was injured.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was
Yeah,
out
he
for a
did
while.
miss time.
Wasn't it like the very beginning of the season?
Yeah. It's tough. Because Kershaw, he's so good every year in and year out. I think
Or
you're not
maybe-
supposed to vote based on postseason, but I think that does.
Well, the votes are in before the postseason starts.
oh, yeah.
So they never vote on postseason because it didn't start. I think,
I'll say Scherzer.
yeah, I think Scherzer's going to win.
I think Scherzer will. Again, I think that one's going to be close too. I think it'll be Scherzer by a hair over Kershaw. Strasburg gets one eventually, though.
he will.
Strasburg maybe next year.
I mean, next year, the MVP frontrunners for the AL, it's going to be again between Judge and Altuve, most likely. Or maybe even
Yeah, that's
Correa
fair.
and Springer pop up.
Yeah, I
even
mean,
Bregman.
Houston's going to have MVP candidates for the next 5-6 years.
Yeah, and
I mean,
then-
because Bregman, we really saw him come into his own in the postseason on the biggest stage. So,
And same with the NL. You could see, Bellinger be an MVP candidate. Chris Taylor could
Corey
be an MVP
Seager will be
candidate.
there.
Justin Turner, sorry, Tommy. Justin Turner will be an MVP
Justin
candidate
Turner,
again.
no.
Corey Seager will be there.
Justin Turner's on steroids.
I think Clayton Kershaw gets an MVP at some point.
He did.
I'm staying.
I mean,
woke,
again,
but
but
Again,
I think
okay.
because his ear, he gets better. It seems like I don't know.
Yeah, he just
weird.
needs that
Maybe he's
ring.
is he doing a little some extra?
I don't know. He's been injured way too much to think about that.
I don't
I think.
know.
I would love
Justin
to see
Turner doing a little some
I would
extra?
love-
Dodgers doing a little some extra?
I would love to see Puig just go off one season and get an MVP. That'd be funny to me.
That would be pretty funny, honestly. Yeah, I guess we'll see if the Cubs make it back in 2018. We'll see if the Yankees can. We'll see if the Astros and the Dodgers will. I think they all will.
for NL MVP, I think Wilson Contreras finishes in the top 3.
He missed too much time.
Yeah.
No, next year.
Next year,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
I
next
agree with
year-
that.
Next year, I think Wilson Contreras
I-
finishes in the top 3.
I think he might be the best catcher in the league.
Yeah, I agree.
Him and
I don't
Gary,
even.
him and Gary Sanchez
Him and-
are like
yeah.
very close because they're both really good hitters. They're both Gary Sanchez's fielding needs some improvement.
Because that stretch that
Willie's
Contreras
got a
went,
hose.
yeah, and that stretch he went on hitting when he came back from injury was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
And yeah, that's the thing that he's going to be able to do because he's got such a good combo of power and just gap to gap, like Just makes great contact all over the field.
You don't see that from catchers.
He hustles too.
He's going to come up in those big moments too. Like
he's very close.
He has already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's about that time where we're going to have to close the show. For Tommy, Jake, and Will, I'm Ori Benatar. Thanks for listening again to another edition of Illini Drive. Make sure to check out Luke and his guys tomorrow right here on WPGU 107.1.